We're leaving today and entering a world of Mickey Mouse waving, princess meeting and greeting, lightsaber clashing, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror dropping, Banshee flying, Space Mountain launching, galaxy rewinding, what's the one that was galaxy rewinding, fireworks igniting, world of other worlds, for whatever you love. Infinite worlds await at the most magical place on Earth, Walt Disney World Resort.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This is Optimal Living Daily. This is what most people get wrong about willpower by Nir Eyal of nirandfar.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your narrator and host, reading you articles with a bit of my own commentary at the end. Without further ado, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. This is what most people get wrong about willpower by Nir Eyal of nirandfar.com. You come home after a long day of work and you immediately curl yourself up on the couch and binge the latest Netflix craze for hours while you scroll and scroll through your social media feeds and snack on potato chips even though you're on a diet. You look around and see that garbage needs to be taken out, laundry needs to be folded, and your child's toys are strewn across the living room floor. The list of productive things you could be doing seem endless, yet you can't seem to find the willpower to peel yourself off of the couch to do them. Is this a regular occurrence for you? Do you realize that you are in this rut but can't seem to find the willpower to overcome it? You're definitely not alone in this situation. This is called ego depletion. Ego depletion is a theory that willpower is connected to a limited reserve of mental energy, and once you run out of that energy, you're more likely to lose self-control. This theory would seem to explain your post-work defeat. But new studies suggest that we've been thinking about willpower all wrong and that the theory of ego depletion isn't true. Even worse, holding on to the idea that willpower is a limited resource can actually be bad for you, making you more likely to lose control and act against your better judgment. The real nature of willpower. In a study conducted by Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck and her colleagues published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, Dweck concluded that signs of ego depletion were observed only in those test subjects who believed willpower was a limited resource. They studied how people reacted when they were fatigued and told to drink lemonade with sugar in it to give them a boost. After the participants drank the lemonade, the researchers evaluated how they reacted. It wasn't the sugar in the lemonade, but the belief in its impact that gave participants an extra boost. People who did not see willpower as a finite resource did not show signs of ego depletion. If Dweck's conclusions are correct, that means that ego depletion is essentially caused by self-defeating thoughts and not by any biological limitation, an idea that makes us less likely to accomplish our goals by providing a rationale to quit when we could otherwise persist. Michael Inzlicht, a professor of psychology at the University of Toronto and the principal investigator at the Toronto Laboratory for Social Neuroscience, offers an alternative view to Dweck's conclusions. Inzlicht believes that willpower is not a finite resource, but instead acts like an emotion. Just as we don't run out of joy or anger, willpower ebbs and flows based on what's happening to us and how we feel. For example, to determine how in control people feel regarding their cravings for cigarettes, drugs, or alcohol, researchers administered a standard survey called the Craving Belief Questionnaire. The assessment is modified for the participant's drug of choice and presents statements like, "Once the craving starts, I have no control over my behavior," and "the cravings are stronger than my willpower." How people rate these statements tells researchers a great deal not only about their current state, but also how likely they are to remain addicted. Participants who indicate they feel more powerful as time passes increase their odds of quitting. In contrast, studies of cigarette smokers found that those who believed they were powerless to resist were more likely to fall off the wagon after quitting. The logic isn't surprising, but the extent of the effect is remarkable. A study published in the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs found that individuals who believed they were powerless to fight their cravings were much more likely to drink again. The same theory could be applied to other things as well, such as working out, dieting, self-control in a relationship, etc. A new decision-making tool. Seeing the link between temperament and willpower through a different lens has profound implications on the way we focus our attention. For one, if mental energy is more like an emotion than fuel in its tank, it can be managed and utilized as such. For example, a toddler might throw a temper tantrum when refused a toy, but will, as they age, gain self-control and learn to ride out bad feelings. Similarly, when we need to perform a difficult task, it's more productive and healthy to believe a lack of motivation is temporary than it is to tell ourselves we're spent and need a break. But sometimes a lack of motivation isn't temporary. Feelings are our body's way of conveying information our conscious minds might miss. When a lack of mental energy is chronic, we should listen to our willpower just as we should listen to our emotions. The key here is that if we adjust the perspective and treat willpower as an emotion, it could instead be seen as providing insights about what we should and shouldn't be spending our time on. By listening to our lack of willpower as we would an emotion as a helpful decision-making assistant working in concert with our logical capabilities, we can find new paths that may not require us to do things we fundamentally don't want to do. What we say to ourselves is vitally important. Labeling yourself as having poor self-control actually leads to less self-control. Rather than telling ourselves we failed because we're somehow deficient, we should offer self-compassion by speaking to ourselves with kindness when we experience setbacks. Rather than quit, we need to understand that we don't run out of willpower. Believing we do makes us less likely to accomplish our goals by providing a rationale to quit when we could otherwise persist. You just listened to the post titled, "This is What Most People Get Wrong About Willpower" by Nir Eyal of nirandfar.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rinse knows that greatness takes time, but so does laundry. So Rinse will take your laundry and hand deliver it to your door expertly cleaned. And you can take the time pursuing your passions. Time once spent sorting and waiting, folding and queuing, now spent challenging and innovating and pushing your way to greatness. So pick up the Irish flute or those calligraphy pens or that daunting beef Wellington recipe card and leave the laundry to us. Rinse. It's time to be great.
Thank you to Nir. His name is spelled N-I-R, and his site is Nir and Far, with Nir being spelled like his name. I liked his perspective on this because I can totally see how imagining willpower like a fuel tank could do more harm than good. Maybe if we did see it as more like an emotion, we could work with it differently. Just like we don't run out of happiness or frustration, it comes and goes. If every time I felt tired, I assumed I was fully depleted and needed to let my willpower recharge, I'd probably miss out on a lot of opportunities and life, really. But with things like this podcast, because I see it as my identity, I push through. And that can be true with many different parts of our lives. But the self-compassion part is important too. So if you find yourself stuck on the couch today, try not to judge yourself. Listen to that feeling, but also remember that your tank isn't actually empty. You might just need a shift in perspective. Let me know how it goes and what works for you. I always enjoy hearing from you. You can get in contact at oldpodcast.com or reply to my weekly newsletter, which you can also find at oldpodcast.com. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow for Minimalist Monday, where your optimal life awaits.